Hi friends, we'll continue with our macros discussion, and this time I've taken the help of the second file which you can download from the website. And as soon as I open this, I get a security warning which says macros has been disabled. And if I want to make use of it, I must enable it by going inside options. And within which, if I read the option, it says you can enable the content if it has come from a trusted source. And okay. Now some of you may not be getting this option, the security warning, the notification. And why is that so? In the developer, there exists one button called macro security. If I access macro security, you'll get 4 options. Let's quickly read the 4 options. It says disable all macros without notification, disable all macros with notification, the one that I got already, disable all macros except digitally signed macros, and enable all macros without asking, without telling me. So most cases, the second of the 4 options is chosen, which means it is disabled by default, but also you will get a notification by which you can enable it. So most likely for those people who are not getting this notification, they may have any of the other options on except the second one. If the first option is enabled, which means disable all macros without notification, it means by default Excel has disabled it. You would not be able to work with the macros. So what you do is, from the first, you choose the second option, you press OK, and please reopen the file once again. Alright. Now, before I begin talking about the next level of application of macros, let's see what is in front of us. I have a set of data which talks about company ID after the company name. And what I would want is, let's say for the first 5 data, I would want company name, and besides that, I would want their company ID. Now, how do I do that? Now, you'll notice the numbers might be different. So I cannot use the formula right and choose the text and then say, I want 10 characters from the right. That may not be applicable for all. So what do I do? If I take the help of text to columns to segregate the data, you will notice if I take the help of delimited, that's step 1, and then if I choose space, every data is getting scattered, not the way I would have wanted. So neither the formula right is helping me and nor is text to column. But if I'm able to get rid of all the numbers by saying Control H, find what? That is digit 0, replace with all. There's no 0, hence that message. If I say 1, yes, all 1 gone, 2, all 2 gone. Okay, there is no 2, hence the message. Now this you'll have to continue till the 9, right? But wait. If I want to get rid of all the text in the second column, what you would have to do is make use of all the letters A to Z. So find what A, get rid of that. Find what B, get rid of that. And ultimately what you'll be left with is all numbers, right? Now doing this will take some extra bit of effort. And if you have to do this on a regular basis, I may as well record it in terms of macros and make use of it repeated number of times. Now look at the results. If I choose the data and if I say click here to remove numbers, all gone. If I choose the data beside it and I say click here to remove text, all text gone. Exactly what I would have wanted, isn't it? Now I will show you how to record the macros and enable it via button so that it becomes a lot easier when you work around with such data quite repeatedly. And in this case, the data is fairly large enough, more than 4,500 lines of data. So I go to test 1. So I choose the data, let's say 3 this time. Let me go to record macro. Let me give it a name. Let's say remove hyphen numbers, NOS. Okay. Alright. It says hyphen is not allowed. Let me give, let's say remove numbers version 1. Alright. So within the chosen data, it's already chosen. So the action of choosing the cell has not been recorded. So I press Ctrl H. Let me go from 0 to 9 once again. Replace all. 1. Replace all. 2. Replace all. One at a time. It won't take more than a minute. And this is the first time that you need to make the effort. The next time I'll be making the use of the macros. So one by one, all the data, all the digits rather, is getting replaced. Perfect. Now notice all the data is clean. Now next time if I choose the data, I go to macros library. But hey, you notice something, that I have not stopped recording. So you must stop recording. Let me stop recording, and notice I had chosen the data. So even this action has been recorded in my data, and we will see how to go inside the coding and delete the unnecessary lines of code. So I choose the data, I go to macros, and remove numbers version 1 is what we recorded. If I run, let's see what happens. After having deleted those numbers, it has again gone back in the previous data and chosen that extra data. So why this numbers exist? Because I had only chosen this group of data. Now we'll see how to get inside the code and modify to suit our requirements. So I go to macros, I go to remove numbers version 1, and I say edit. Now within edit, let's try to read the headings. So it says sub, remove numbers, that's the name of the macros. These are comment entries, which is not part of the code. It's just there so that in case you want to save some information. Let's say this was a test macros, which will not be executed as a part of the command. Now since I had chosen already the 2 cells or 3 cells in our case, it says selection.replace. What? You must find 0 and replace that with nothing. And similar lines of code exist for all the other digits. If I quickly notice the pattern, 0 to 9. But wait, in the last line, I have a code which says range B8 to B16, please select it. Did I need this? Nope. Hence, let me get rid of it. Alright. So now let me close this module. It is automatically saved in there. And if I choose the data, let's say this time this one, and let me go and make it bold so that it is available for highlight. And then let me go to developer and say macros, remove numbers v1 and run it. This time all numbers gotten deleted and it doesn't go back to the previous data selection. Why? Because I had chosen the code and deleted the one which talked about selecting B8 to B16. Now, if you were to record a macros and attach a button with it, how do I do that? So after having recorded a macro, let me first activate a button. How? Let me go to developer. Let me go to insert and choose the first of the many buttons. Only the first. Yes. And if I make a button, it will immediately ask me that upon clicking the button, which macros should be enabled. So I say remove numbers. Okay. And before activating the button, let me just use a small text out here. Click here to remove numbers. Let me click outside. So next time if I choose the data, let's say the one with numbers, and all I have to do is yes. If I do shift control down, I go back to our main button and I say click here to remove numbers. So it'll take 3-4 seconds. And if I scroll down, you'll notice none of the data has numbers anymore. So there you go. We recorded the macros. We modified it a bit to suit our requirement. We also activated a button upon clicking of which I can use the macros. Now tell me something. If you were to record a macro which eliminates all the text, what you would have done? You can repeat the same procedure but with A to Z. Alternatively, you can go inside macros, choose the macros that you have recorded, click on edit, and in place of 0 you can type in A, in place of 1 you can type in B, and so on so forth. So give it a try. In this file, in fact I have already recorded 2 macros for your display. That is, if I choose remove text and go to edit, a macros that has already been recorded which says you can delete A, B, C tilde Z. And not just that, you can also replace the dot and the extra spaces if you do want that. So keep on practicing. Very, very important techniques. And this particular technique I have used quite a lot, especially while cleaning the numbers. So our scope of macros discussions will end here, because macros is a minefield. There are so many things that you can do along with it, but we have discussed the salient features. How do you record macros? How do you run the macros? What are the macros settings, the developer tab, and how can you make use of the macros from other files as well.